second story will be weighing in on. One major political event will be taking place in Kano. We don't usually dwell on defection of politicians from one party to the other, but because of the place of Kano politics in national politics, I have to be giving you the color of the water that passes under the bridge as Governor Abba Yusuf dumps his political godfather and joins APC, raising the number of APC governors to a record high. But before then, the status of the 4 new tax laws. A member of the House raised a motion on the floor, alleging that it was doctored, what the National Assembly passed harmonized and what was gazetted. At the point of gazetting, they altered and changed criminally some provision. The House of Representatives set up a committee to look into it. That committee has been working for a long time. So the minority caucus in the House did set up his own committee, and within a record time, last week they came out with a report confirming that some provisions were adopted, and the main House of Representatives quickly dissociated itself from that report, saying their own report is coming. And I asked, where is your own report? All the investigation committees set up by the National Assembly, majority of them end up doing nothing. Since 1999, only 2 investigative committees conclusively carried out their work. The over 4,000 investigative assignments that were given to committees got to a dead end. And so the minority caucus, comprising of the other parties in the National Assembly, different from the APC, perhaps they felt that the House is at it again, and they decided to do their own investigation and have come out with what they called evidence that these provisions were altered. So the House has promised that they will come out with their own report, and I say yes, come out with their own report. Your own report, let's compare and contrast. Deba Abaduri is there, David Tiav is there, and Abulo Semag is there. Gentlemen, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Amici. And greetings to my colleagues in the studio and to our listeners out there, wherever you are listening to us, any part of the world this morning. I read the poem long ago. The title of that poem was The Road That Leads to Nowhere. And what is happening in the National Assembly actually confirmed that poem. The road that leads to nowhere is not actually talking about a road, it was talking about governance that serves no purpose. The road that leads to nowhere. So what we are witnessing in the National Assembly is like that road. You know that there are a lot of several committees there, and warm up to it. There was a particular one that was to investigate tax evasion by foreign oil companies. I was so glad after concluding the report. 6 months after, I asked the chairman of the committee on the House Committee on Petroleum, what has become of that report now? And then we are hearing nothing.
It has gone to a...
No, he said we are still compiling our report. And I conclude that at the end of that session, of that session of National Assembly, that report was never tabled. And today it was never tabled. So what happened? What it was then doing is inviting the managing directors and top executives of foreign oil companies in Nigeria to appear before them, and God knew what happened. I don't want to be saying it because I don't have authority. I don't have facts, but I know a lot of water passed under the bridge. And that's, so when you are saying the report will never be made public, I doubt very much it will ever be made public, against the background that they will not have the courage to confront the executive.
Once you reach them, I want to help you.
The executive has insisted that it will go ahead to implement those laws. So they will not have the courage to say, these laws were, what the allegation have been made is real.
Well, it was an anti-corruption organization that carried out this study. And I took particular interest to it, that they did a study of the committee set up by the National Assembly. Since 1999, only 2 were concluded. Is it not a big shame and indictment on the National Assembly that they have started using committee investigation as a tool to extort money? from some people, because as soon as you reach them, that's the end of it all. If not that the minority caucus had moved with this one, they will even offer you explanation as, oh, we will publish the report when it's concluded. Well, Adebayo talking about a road that leads to nowhere. In geography or urban administration and management, you call it cul-de-sac, a street that has one end. So I would say it's a close. If you enter,
the urban regional plan is a close.
It's a close, but the other one is cul-de-sac, or if you want to express it, you say a road to nowhere.
Amechi, good morning. Good morning, TV. Good morning, Bayo. And good morning, dear listener. Why the world embrace democracy and not military rule or dictatorship? It's for the people to have their voices heard, and it's for issues like this to be tabled, discussed for the betterment, ultimate goal, betterment of the citizen. There are alterations raised by a House of Rep member in the tax law passed. What are these alterations? If they were not altered, left like that, would they be the benefit of the common man? I listened to the minority leader chair while he was speaking on one of the stations over the weekend. One of the alterations, according to him, is that they said the National Assembly said they have the right to invite the chairman of the National what they call that Revenue Service.
Nigerian Revenue Service.
They can invite at random the chairman of the Revenue Service come and explain certain things, but that part was removed. And by whoever, whether it's the Minister of Information, Printing and Minting Company, or
Minister of Information will not be involved.
Let me explain what he said. He said they've written to Minister of Information because they feel the printing and whatever, what they call it, gazetting the press. The government press is under the Minister of Information, and they've not answered them. And they've written to the clerk or whoever, they've not answered them. My own worry is this alteration, let me not use so-called now, are they to the benefit of the legislators or to the benefit of the Nigerian people? I just mention one now. That is the argument they're having. Now, why will the executive gazette a document which print out or omitted that portion where they have the liberty to invite?
No, several portions.
Yeah, the chairman of the National Revenue Service. We have to be very careful. The way Amanda will draft some certain laws because in the nearest future, if the executive is wrong in that alteration, they've not owned up to it. I'm just saying they've not owned up to it that there are alterations, and I don't think, according to Bayo, I don't think they own up to it there are alterations. But if indeed there are alterations, they need to let us know the reason behind it. Is it to the benefit of the common man, or they are protecting the national interest?
You recall what Obasanjo, how he once described the National Assembly as a den of rogues. You know Obasanjo and the way he behaves. And when I recall the other House of Rep member, very brilliant House member, the one known as the one that hides dollars under his cap that was sent to jail. Yes, Lawan. Farouk Lawan. In one of the so-called committee investigation they set up, they approached Femi Otedola and asked him to pay them dollars in thousands so that they can protect his interests. But the guy was smarter. They didn't know they were clever by half. He was smarter. He set up videos, recording equipment, and he came in to indeed collect the money. And in the video, he was seen hiding the dollars in his cap. He turned his cap into... and I don't know if he went to jail. But good enough, he has been pardoned by the president and is back in APC and all that. But that's by the way, just to refresh our mind. Let's get your perspective on the ding-dong in the National Assembly. You know ding-dong? That's tennis, table tennis. You play to me, I play to you in the House of Representatives.
Amechi, good morning to you. Good morning, listener. Most times they will tell you should listen to the message and leave the messenger. But who created the rogue house? You may ask. Because we also saw a situation where they put money in front of the speaker, where they said the money came from somewhere.
Sacks of money. They say it came from the executive. And Obasanjo was the president.
So he knows, and they also know themselves. So it's clear. But my concern with what is happening is I've always said lessons should be learned. and we only make progress when corrections are taken moving forward. The president has admitted that there were alterations. In his message when there was so much, when it was the heat of the debate, I think it was his New Year message or one of those messages. He said, look, that the alterations or those differences are not significant enough to stop implementation of those laws. So he admitted that there were alterations. There's nobody that has come out to say there were no alterations. Everybody, either keep quiet or you admit or you say they were. So
or you say you are still investigating.
And for the House set up a committee to investigate. Most probably when they get back by the 27th, the committee
That's
will
tomorrow.
Yes, the House will submit it. The committee will submit its report, and let's see what they will do with it. But before that, the National Assembly has already taken some actions and decisions. They told the clerk. Remember a statement that was issued by the Speaker of the House of Reps. They told the clerk, look, moving forward,
Regazette the laws.
Not necessarily that. Moving forward, once a law is sent to the president and signed, except the clerk is the one who releases it directly, for the printing or the gazetting, it will not be given to second or third parties, so that nothing goes on in between, all of that. And I think it's a lesson that the National Assembly has learned from this experience moving forward. So we hope, that nothing will eventually this will not repeat itself. What I'm looking at is when the report is submitted, persons should be identified, those who were involved in this, and they should be sanctioned, as a preventive measure to stop any other person who may want to think or to temper.
No, I don't. If you say the president has accepted,
he has.
So he should have taken preliminary action on those responsible. We don't wait. Those responsible should be suspended if they're in statutory offices. They can't continue coming to work when this thing is happening.
It's a National Assembly issue. A member of the National Assembly raised the issue. So the National Assembly is investigating the issue even before the statement of the president. Would it be that he would jump the gun to, So that's why I said I'm happy that this pressure is coming, so that eventually action will be taken. I hope the minority caucus in the House of Reps will follow this through. It may be politically motivated or whatever. What I know is this report that they say they have cannot be laid before the House.
No, I don't see what you mean by politically motivated.
It cannot be laid. It cannot be laid before the House. It is
it's not politically motivated. The House member had his rights. How do they say privileges breached, and he raised an important issue. So I don't see any. He was doing the work he was elected to do.
No, I agree with you. What I'm saying is, the House has inaugurated a committee to investigate, and that's why the House is also responding in the way and manner it has responded. The committee has not submitted its report, and then a minority caucus, that is not a standing committee of the House, went ahead to do it. What the minority caucus did is almost like what Senator Abdul Nigi did with Budget Party to come and say this, that. So their report cannot be laid before the House.
No, it's for their own consumption.
So I'm hoping that when the committee, the House has inaugurated, released the report, they from their own research now, they will now be that voice, that will drive the debate, so that we'll get results and actions taken for this not to repeat itself. And if there are corrections that need to be made, they need to be made.
I think we have to
move ahead.
But we're even talking about the House. It's good that at least something there is a movement in the House. There's an action in the House. People are speaking in the House. What of the Senate? They are quiet. They are quiet. To me, is a sign.
They just said, sit down, look. There's this sit down, look approach to solve problem solving. Either you are involved or you don't want to get involved because some people may be angry. You just sit down, look. It's just like two fighting. You see two people fight, you just sit back. You don't want to separate them because perhaps you're enjoying the person that has dominance and supremacy. So what the Senate is doing is sit down, look. And they think they're smart. But I tell you, it's the service. As huge as it is, they have kept quiet. And it's only the House that is pushing it. It's in that same Senate that set up, this same 10th Senate, a committee to investigate the ways and means the Buhari administration collected from the central bank. Loans, if not loans, central bank printed 23 trillion naira under Buhari and gave the government to spend. They lavished it, shared it among themselves up to today. There's no single record. I'm talking about 23 trillion, not billion, 23 trillion. There's no single record of who got what, well, how was the money spent. The Senate set up the committee to investigate. After 2 years, that committee is still investigating. So if you should know the thinking pattern in the Senate. Well, let's also tell you that you can join our live YouTube channel, Raypower Abuja, on YouTube to catch up with the video and live proceedings here as we analyze this report. But let's go on a short break, a commercial break. When we come back, your mails, and of course, stay with us.
Many thanks for joining us. Welcome to the mail segment on Political Platform. My name is Fumilayo M.
And I am Chidera Izudoye. Our first mail is from Dixon Eka in Abuja, and he says, now that the Minority Caucus Investigative Panel of the House of Representatives has confirmed that the gazetted tax laws of 2025, including one that established the Nigeria Revenue Service, have been doctored and forged, what becomes of implementation of the acts? President Tinubu, in one of his overseas travels, insisted that the tax regime must start on the 1st of January. And now that the law that is being implemented is a forged one, will the president insist from Turkey that the executive must implement the forged law? Will the National Assembly rub stamp this as well and allow the implementation of the mutilated law even when their powers of oversight on the new Nigeria Revenue Service has been reduced to give the executive excessive powers? What type of country are we running? Even the idea of taxing the rich people is not a good economic policy, but a deceit, just like they lied to us that fuel subsidy only benefited the rich. The rich are the producers and distributors, but taxes are shifted to the end users, who in most cases are the poor and average people, who may not be the target. Dangote, as a rich man, has increased his cement 2 times within the first 20 days of this month to cover the huge tax that is coming his way. So, who is truly paying this tax? It's the poor and average Nigerians that will buy the cement. The economic policies of the Tinubu administration are indirectly targeting and suffocating the poor and the average people in Nigeria.
And Emeka Mba from Abuja is also writing us, and he says, Please permit me to remind us that the Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2025, which was passed by the House of Representatives last year and sent to the Senate before the National Assembly went on Christmas recess, is still there in the red chambers untouched. And time is ticking and will gradually inch towards electioneering activities for 2027 general elections. The importance of this bill cannot be overemphasized as it seeks to address the flaws identified in our electoral system in previous elections, which include strengthening the use of technology and amending election timelines. Then there's also the bigger picture of constitution amendment to include the all-important restructuring of the country to decentralize the country's flawed and problematic presidential system as currently practiced. I also suggest a single non-renewable 5-year term for president, as experience has shown that any government that cannot change the fortunes of Nigeria and Nigerians in the first 4 years cannot do same in the second term of 4 years. I make bold to submit that the politicians are doing everything to distract us from festering and heightened insecurity and other teething problems so that they can have their way come 2027. And we continue to suffocate under the weight of their selfish ambitions and interests. Let's be reminded that the real power lies with the people, and as such, let us renew the call for electoral reforms and restructuring with the vigor and seriousness they deserve.
And from Kubwa, Michio is saying, news has it that President Tinubu is set to depart Abuja today, Monday, January 26, on a state visit to the Republic of Turkey. This comes barely 2 weeks after his return from an overseas trip before Christmas. Now, one is compelled to ask, how many world leaders have paid a state visit to Nigeria since President Tinubu assumed office? If the answer is none, then what tangible benefit have these frequent foreign trips yielded? Sadly, there appears to be little to show for them. Anyway, at a time when the nation is bleeding, the president continues to travel abroad, and this raises serious concerns and suggests that there may be more to it than meets the eye. As of today, over 177 Nigerians abducted in Kaduna last week remain in captivity, and yet the president is embarking on another state visit, this time to Turkey. One cannot help but wonder, when will other countries' head of states begin to pay state visits to Nigeria? Or is Nigeria not good enough to receive heads of state?
Manuel Nkama from Gowon Estate, Alimosho, Lagos says, please, I crave your indulgence to observe that Governor Abba Yusuf of Kano State set to abandon NNPP and rejoin APC is nothing new, but the evidence of the continuing political
Thank you so much for staying with us now. If Abba Yusuf moves from the NNPP, which he has already resigned, and goes into the APC, it will have 29 governors under his fold. Now, the record, that's not the record in terms of the party with the highest number of governors. After the 2003 election, general election, the PDP had 31 governors. 76 senators, and 223 members of the House of Representatives. In 2003, PDP had 31 governors. Today, PDP has shrunk to 4 governors. And don't be surprised if more will leave. So, Muftwang of Plateau State will officially join the APC Tuesday after Abba Yusuf today. Kefas in Taraba, has he officially joined?
No.
Okay, so it appears
he has registered.
yes.
The official
yes, he has gotten
ceremony.
001 registration.
He shifted the
Votes.
ceremony because of
Yes, and we asked him to do so and he obliged. So, recall 2013, where was APC? It was some different political parties that formed a coalition and they became a merger. They were protesting on the streets. So I call it APC, from protest to power and to dominance.
Well, just one concern, the issue of party-led power. If a governor resigns from a party, that backup can happen. Immunity, I understand Section 308, where they have power of immunity, has covered that. I think that should be investigated more. A political party led you become governor, and you are resigning, become partyless, to be running the state. I think that is the problem. The National Assembly should be investigated for that.
No, he resigned on Friday, right? On Thursday.
On Thursday, and
the next working day is today, so he won't be partyless.
Yes, I think that should be investigated.
Okay.
Obviously,
so what happens to Rabiu Musa Kwankwa, so the man that literally brought him up and made him who he is today?
Well, let me just quickly, just within a few seconds, people are trying to compare what happened now to what happened in 1981. In 1981, there was a rift between Malam Kano, the late Malam Kano, and the late governor Abubakar Rimi, and they were trying to say as if they are the same. They are not the same. What the rift between Malam and Rimi was ideological. And what we are witnessing today was a governor who is trying to free himself from what I would call overbearing control. That's the truth. That's what is playing out in Kano. And unfortunately,
because he's his godfather, he was pressing his neck. He has his knee on his neck.
Unfortunately for politics in Kano is gradually declining from radicalism into what I call opportunism.
To transactionalism.
Opportunism. That is exactly what it is, and it's so unfortunate. If the home of radical politics, we had to witness that.
I mean, the political implication is a President Tinubu and an APC working towards sharing votes in Kano State in 2027. Whichever way it goes. Okozo was spoken with from the reports that we have. He refused. He said made him president
or vice
president.
And they told him, we will have none of that.
We don't have it. So he refused to return to the APC. But now we are seeing what we are seeing. That is the direction to split the votes. Don't forget, even in the 2027 general election, I think NMPP narrowly won.
The governorship, but overwhelmingly for president.
So all of those calculations are on the table. The issue, and don't forget, all the defections, all of them have different colorations, different reasons, and different. There are some that there is no godfather, like Plateau, there's no godfather. The Akwa bomb, and all of that. But
the godfathers decided to keep up. They decided to keep up.
So moving forward, I think these godfathers need to take a second look at the way they engage their godsons. We saw in Anambra State where somebody was taking to teach and to take oath. So perhaps there is a different way, because when you were in the case of Kano, the guy was a product of political.
We have to go. We're out of time. Okay, so the Kwankwasia cap, a lot of people will throw it away this morning in Kano and wear the Miloko cap. So if you're a visitor to Kano City, if you're walking on the streets of Kano after today, for the political supporters, either is the Kwankwasia cap or the Miloko cap. Would there be a third cap? Well, we'll wait to see. Thank you so much for joining us today. Have a good time.